After just 7 days, 96% of Shiseido Benefiance Wrinkle Smoothing Eye Cream users saw reduced wrinkles and diminished dark circles. Shop now at Sephora and discover how change can happen in the blink of an eye. Consumer tested by 110 women.
Verizon Small Business Days are here, August 11th through 17th. Book your appointment today to get special deals like a free 5G phone. Still want more? Get a free tech check while you're here. Call 1-800-483-4428 or visit verizon.com/smallbusiness. We got you covered. Verizon Business. Available for select 5G phones. New line device payment agreement and select data plan required. Credit applied to account over agreement term up to 36 months. Terms apply. Offer ends 8/17/2025.
Welcome, friend, to the Spirit Parlour. Thank you. Please come in, get cozy, maybe have a warm cup of tea, and let's talk about something I believe connects all of us, whether you realize it or not, and that's creativity. Now, I know some of you might already be shaking your head. Oh, I'm not creative, you might say. Maybe you think creativity is just for painters or novelists and filmmakers, and we all can't be that, and I completely understand that. But let's stop this myth right now, because creativity isn't limited to art forms. Creativity is a spark, a way of thinking, a way of seeing, and every single person has it. Because every single person has a soul. And tonight, I want to talk about how creativity and spirituality can be intertwined and how you can use creativity to reconnect with your own spirit, even if life feels overwhelming or uninspired. So let's talk about the I'm not creative image that you might make for yourself. You might tell yourself, I can't draw a stick figure, or I don't have an artistic bone in my body. I love this quote by Elizabeth Gilbert. She's the author of Big Magic. She says, argue for your limitations and you will get to keep them. And here's the thing, creativity isn't a talent contest. It's not about being perfect at something. It isn't about drawing an amazing stick figure. It's about playing and enjoying the act of doing. And flaws and fears should never get in the way of our play. Creativity is any act of bringing something new into the world that didn't exist before. Whether that's a story, a recipe, rearranging your living room, a fresh solution to a work problem, or a game you make up with your kids. But it also isn't about overwhelming yourself with the demand of immediately coming up with a fresh, new, original idea. Albert Einstein said, creativity is seeing what others see and thinking what no one else has ever thought. So look at the world a little differently. I just want to encourage you to do that. It all doesn't have to be fresh and new and never done before. It just has to be yours. No one is ever going to have your perspective ever again. No one is ever going to be looking out from your eyes, including yourself, ever again. This is a very unique experience, and you can shape and affect the world any way your heart dreams, any way that you're moved to do so. So you can easily see how spirituality flows through creativity. When you solve the smallest problem, when you improvise, when you make something with your hands, even when you imagine possibilities for your own life, you're being creative. You're tapping into the same energy artists use, just in a different form. So notice when you do this and celebrate it. Begin celebrating it. And spiritually speaking, creativity is one of the ways the universe moves through you. Like I mentioned, every time you imagine, you're channeling from that infinite field of ideas that exists all around us. It gets big quick. Sometimes when I hear someone say they're not creative, I think about the way nature works. The spirals in a seashell, the lacework of veins in a single green leaf, or the bright flash of a bird's wing, even a single feather, and the astonishing patterns in our own eyes, our eyes themselves. They're like teeny galaxies swirling right there in the mirror looking back at us. Do you ever find yourself just staring at something in nature and marveling at it? That's the same awe that fuels creativity. Nature doesn't stop to wonder if its colors are good enough. It doesn't second guess its patterns. It simply creates wildly, beautifully, unapologetically. And I think deep down, we are really meant to do the same. And here's another reason why I think creativity is spirituality. Very, very colorful spirituality. Think about what happens when you're deeply involved in making something, when you're just in that zone. Time gets strange. It either slows down or disappears entirely, and your mind quiets. You feel present. This is the same state you might enter during meditation, prayer, or deep contemplation. Think about that. It feels very similar. You can connect that flow of creativity and how spirituality feels. That's because creativity invites us into connection with ourselves, with our inner voice, with something greater. It's bigger than us. I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but when doing something, when bringing something into reality, creating something, taking a step back and saying, wow, where did that come from? Or maybe you'll notice that in someone else who creates something, like the creation becomes its own being. And even if it's yours, you kind of step back as an observer and say, wow, where did this come from? When we are in that flow, some people call it the muse. Some people call it spirit. Some people call it source energy. But whatever you name it, when you create, you're opening a channel to receive and express something beyond the everyday noise. And here's the beautiful part. When you nurture your creativity, you're also nurturing your spiritual life. So how do we get there? If you feel completely detached or removed or don't even know where to begin with being creative, I believe it really starts with stillness. If you're feeling stuck or like your creative spark is gone, don't push harder. It's time to pause. Give yourself a moment to truly listen to yourself. Maybe you need to rest first. Maybe you need to go for a quiet walk, sit under a tree, or light a candle. Leave your phone in another room, that is for certain. Ask your higher self or your guides, what would bring me joy to create right now? Your body will probably give you the answer before your mind does. If you feel light, open, excited, that's a yes. If you feel heavy or tense, maybe you're not in that space yet. Follow the yeses. Explore what it feels like, or recall a time when you were in that flow, or just create a meditative space where you're welcoming in the flow. This isn't a trying exercise. This is a allowing exercise. Also, consider making space. Creativity flows best in open space. That doesn't mean you need a big, beautiful studio. It can be small. You can clean a corner of your kitchen table, or rearrange a shelf, or pull up your desk, or pull up your table next to a window so you can see outside. I always find that before I can start any kind of involved task, that I do need to clear the clutter. And I'll go ahead and mention this here because it seems appropriate and I love listening to my inner guidance. There's this thing called visual clutter versus, yeah, okay. So there's this thing called visual clutter. Say you have a bunch of pencils and markers and they're scattered all over your desk. That's clutter, right? If you put them in a pen cup, you can still see them. It's still visual clutter, especially when there's stacks of paper and, figurines and sticky notes and your keyboard and computer cables. It's all visual clutter. So the more that you can, pens in a pen cup are very different from pens in a tray in a closed desk where you can't see them. So it's not that you have to get rid of your things. Just be mindful of your visual clutter. Because and so much creativity is a visual art. We're creating something that we're going to see with our eyes. And if we're seeing a bunch of clutter, it literally can get messy quick. Okay, I'm done with my tangent. Clearing your space. Think of it like preparing an altar for your creative spirit. Open a window, put on music you love, and create a little environment where inspiration feels welcome. You have to create the space physically and mentally and in your heart and in your spirit. From there, really practice disconnecting to reconnect. To hear your creative voice, sometimes you have to quiet all the other voices. This means stepping away from social media, from endless scrolling, from comparing yourself to what everyone else is doing. When you give your imagination breathing room, it starts to show you images and ideas and stories that are uniquely yours. You might doodle in a notebook, hum a tune, write a few sentences, or, hey, arrange some flowers. It doesn't matter what the form is. The important part is the act of creating without pressure. It's about enjoying what you're doing and feeling connected and a part of it. So make it a spiritual practice. Creativity isn't just something you do when you're in the mood. Like meditation or prayer, it deepens you the more you return to it. Even 10 or 15 minutes a day can be really powerful. Light a candle, take a deep breath, and step into your creative space. And say to yourself, I'm here to play. I'm here to explore. I'm here to listen. Release the need for perfectionism. This is for your spirit, not for Instagram. Okay, let's do a little creative spiritual exercise. Here's something you can try tonight, right after this episode. Find a quiet spot. Take 3 slow breaths in and out. Kind of loosen yourself physically, detach from all the events from your day. Just reconnect with yourself. Ask yourself how you're doing. And if anything feels tense, give yourself a minute to just breathe into that area and become one with yourself. When you feel more at ease, more you, ask Spirit to give you a creative nudge, a small idea, an image, a color, a phrase. And don't reach for it. Just create the space and allow it to come forward naturally. Then spend just 10 minutes making something inspired by that nudge. Don't judge it. Don't overthink it. Just let it be what it is. And then see how you feel afterwards. That's your spiritual spark saying hello. If nothing comes to you, then don't stress about it. Please do not. Inspiration lands on you like a butterfly. It approaches you when it wants. You've created the invitation. And isn't that a form of creativity in itself? Now pay attention in life to where creativity might arrive for you. It might not have been in that 10-minute moment. I'm going to give you a little example of my own, okay? I used to draw a lot, every day. Everyone thought I was going to be an artist, but I don't draw that much anymore. I can honestly say I express myself, my creativity, in many other ways. Some people might know that I make mermaid tails. And my main source of creativity and expression right now is this podcast. Well, I recently watched a movie. It's an older film. I think it's from 2009. It's called The Secret of Moon Acre. And I was so moved by the costuming and the production design. Tim Curry is in it, by the way. This film skews a little on the kid, young adult side. But given the touch points of the plot, I wondered if this movie was based on a book. It had to be based on a book. So I looked it up and I found it. It's a novel called The Little White Horse by Elizabeth Gouge, Goudge. So I purchased a used hardcover of it on eBay, and I was actually a little disappointed when it arrived because the hardcover didn't have the art on the hardcover. The book came with a printed sleeve cover wrap that was kind of worn and damaged. Boo. I took that sleeve cover off excitedly to see what was underneath, and the hardcover is blank. Oh, well. But later that night, the inspiration hit. What if I painted the hardcover myself? From there, my thoughts went wider. I didn't have to paint the original cover art. What do I want to do? So I looked at stills from the film and various reference pieces of art on Pinterest, and I know what I want to do. So I'm really excited. And this idea came together in parallel to musing about creativity and inspiration and spirituality. All that was tumbling around my head that day. And I was kissed on the forehead by an art muse after contemplating why I didn't draw or don't have time and do I miss it and all of that. If I'd kept my head down and just dismissed areas of my life or said, hey, I'm too busy, I've got this going on, all of those ideas might not have come to me. Sure, I would have bought the book. Sure, I would have been disappointed that it was a blank hardcover, and that would have been it. But my brain was primed to explore the possibilities of what can come next. It's a more expansive space, and that is the space I'm encouraging you to cultivate within yourself. And yes, I will be happy to share my sketches and painting as I go. I've really enjoyed talking about this topic, and I think it is a great start to a mini series as to how spirituality can flow in your life in more ways than just serious rituals or dedicated meditation time. It's about incorporating that inspiration and flow into your life, just welcoming it, just creating the space for it to be in. Because with the book and the drawing that I was just talking about, I could say I'm too busy, I have my outlet. But if it's important to you and you're inspired enough, there's always room. There's always time to make time. If there wasn't, we wouldn't have a Netflix subscription. We wouldn't have our phone in our hand all the time. If we didn't have time to glance at these things, what time can you free up for yourself? What's important? Finally, I just want to say your creativity isn't lost. Your creativity doesn't need to be proven. It doesn't need to be approved. It is woven into your being. Whether you're currently using it or not, it's always there. And when you invite it to the surface, you'll find not just inspiration, but connection to yourself, to spirit, and to the magic that flows through everything. Before I close tonight, I want to mention that book again that I love, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. In it, she shares this beautiful philosophy that ideas and inspiration are living forces, that they choose us. They tap us on the shoulder and they say, I have something for you. Will you bring it into the world? And if we say yes, we make room for it, respect it, and honor it, and that idea will stay with us and it will bloom. But if we ignore it too long, it might float away and find someone else to bring it to life. I like to think of it as a kind of spiritual courtship. Inspiration has chosen you for a reason, and it doesn't like to be ignored. And if we welcome it with love and earnest and our heart, will be rewarded for that, and others will see you doing it, and your creativity will speak to their creativity, and will be speaking soul to soul. And just like those spirals in a seashell or a pattern in a delicate leaf, what you create will be uniquely yours, something no one else could have shaped in quite the same way. So when inspiration visits, welcome it in. Pour it a cup of tea and ask it to stay a while. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have thoughts on your own about the creative process or finding that zone, finding that flow, or even your own struggles and your own solutions, I would love to hear about it. So please reach out. You can email me anytime at speaknow@italktoghosts.com, or leave a comment where you can so others can participate in the conversation or be inspired by your thoughts. I'll include a downloadable offering about the topics I covered tonight on my Patreon. You can visit that at patreon.com/italktoghosts. And as always, any offering that is coming from the Spirit Parlour in this nature, it'll be at the $1 level, and you'll have access to all of them, past and present. So until next time, keep your heart open, your spirit curious, and welcome that creative spirit in. Take care.
Welcome to Brew Crime, a true crime and beer podcast. Join me, Mike,
and me, JT,
as we explore the world of crime, conspiracies, or whatever catches our attention. This is a podcast where we pick a theme, cover a few cases, and pair them with a brew.
Between themes, we do what we call Brew Crime News, a funny look at current news stories, be it crime, animals, sports, or even celebrities.
You can find us on all social media at Brew Crime. Our website is brewcrime.com, and you can find us on any podcast app at Brew Crime Podcast.
Join us as we discuss the horrible crimes that surround us, and maybe, definitely, tip a bottle or two back as you do it. Drink with us weekly.
Hey everyone, I'm Erica.
And I'm Elizabeth.
We're sisters, wine lovers, and your hosts for the podcast Spirits Uncorked.
In season 2, we're leaving the haunted waters of Lake Lanier in Georgia and diving into all new spooky stuff. Shadow people?
I've seen them.
Haunted military bases?
I've served on one.
Local restaurants with ghostly reputations?
I work at one.
Okay, if something spooky doesn't happen to you, I worry about you.
The paranormal is my normal.
Plus, we'll sip and chat with horror authors, fascinating guests, and test out some superstitions along the way.
Knock on wood.
So uncork a bottle and pour a glass of the paranormal with us on season 2 of Spirits Uncorked.
Get ready for sips, scares, and sisterly sarcasm.